Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're unpacking a truly gripping report that blows the lid off the massive scale and the intense global impact of the Pentagon's covert forces. We're talking about an unacknowledged operation of just staggering proportions. We're going to break down exactly what this source material claims, how this massive force operates, and the huge questions it raises about the future of global warfare. Let's get right into it.
Think about the U.S. military for a second. We usually picture the most powerful, visible force on the planet, right? Massive troop deployments, fighter jets screaming overhead, aircraft carriers absolutely dominating the high seas. You literally can't miss them. But the source material brings to light a parallel reality. Running quietly alongside all that visible might is a completely undercover army. It's a force the world knows, well, essentially nothing about, operating entirely in the shadows.
Part 1. The Invisible Force. Uncovering the Pentagon's clandestine officers.
60,000. Just let that number sink in for a second. The report claims the Pentagon has built a secret army of 60,000 clandestine officers. That is literally enough people to fill a Major League Baseball stadium, and they are all operating entirely off the books, managed directly by the Department of Defense. This isn't some Hollywood spy script. According to the latest intelligence reporting, this is a very real, very active part of America's defense infrastructure.
And to really put that incredible number into perspective, reports state this force is 10 times bigger than the CIA's entire spy network. 10 times! The CIA is basically the historical gold standard for global intel, yet this Pentagon-run shadow army completely dwarfs it, reportedly making it the largest undercover force the world has ever known.
So, you're probably wondering, how on earth do 60,000 people just hide in plain sight? Well, the report outlines some of their undercover tactics. They handle both domestic and foreign assignments using a whole mix of methods. Sure, some wear standard military uniforms, but a ton of them utilize false identities and sophisticated disguises. And honestly, the wildest tactic highlighted here is their use of civilian cover. The report claims these operatives will often hide right behind the facade of a well-known company or even a private business. They just blend into everyday life.
Moving on to Part 2, Inside the Three Wings, taking a look at the structure of the Shadow Army.
Now, to actually manage 60,000 operatives, you need serious structure, and the Pentagon reportedly splits them into 3 distinct wings. More than half of this secret army is engaged directly as special operations forces. So those are your physical operatives, the boots on the ground. The rest of the force is split between military intelligence and a smaller but super significant cyber intelligence wing.
Let's look at the military intelligence wing first. These are highly trained specialists, acting as collectors, counterintelligence agents, and linguists. Because their work is incredibly sensitive, extracting data and neutralizing opposing intel networks, they rely on strict cover identities. This protective cover is absolutely crucial. It keeps them safe while they quietly analyze foreign languages and cultures without drawing a single look.
But then you've got this other front entirely. The report highlights a small but rapidly growing cyber intelligence wing. These folks aren't out in the physical field dodging bullets. They're sitting behind keyboards. Their job is hunting high-value targets by scraping vast amounts of public domain data. But it goes way beyond just collecting data. The report explicitly claims they're actively running influence campaigns on social media. They shape narratives and quietly guide digital conversations, meaning they can manipulate global public sentiment without ever crossing a physical border.
Which brings us to Part 3, a global footprint, where this secret army actually operates.
A force of this size definitely isn't just sitting behind desks in DC, and this is where we really see their true global impact. The report claims these shadow warriors are deeply embedded across the world's most volatile conflict zones. We're talking major operational theaters in places like Pakistan, West Africa, North Korea, and Iran. This massive global footprint allows the Pentagon to quietly shift the balance of power on the ground, creating localized impacts where a standard conventional military deployment would instantly spark an international crisis.
Because of where they're positioned, we see 2 totally distinct global impacts. On one hand, you have operatives actively hunting terrorists in unstable regions like Pakistan and West Africa. But on the other hand, and this is a big one, the report claims operatives are actually deployed behind enemy borders in nations like North Korea and Iran. Those are direct, heavy adversaries of the U.S. Operating in those territories carries a wildly different level of risk. It's an extraordinary display of unacknowledged global reach.
And that leads us right into Part 4, the oversight question, digging into legality and accountability.
With a global footprint this expansive, highly active, and totally secret, we run into a massive complication. According to the reporting, unlike other American intel branches, this shadow army hasn't been discussed by the U.S. Congress at all, which forces us to ask the most pressing question here. Is an unacknowledged operation of this incredible magnitude even legal? When you've got 60,000 operatives running social media campaigns, hiding in private businesses, and crossing borders of adversarial nations with zero congressional oversight, things get real murky real fast.
And the report explicitly calls out this friction. It suggests this clandestine initiative directly challenges America's own domestic laws. Plus, operating without a uniform under civilian cover goes against the established military code of conduct. And perhaps most significantly, these tactics raise serious questions about potential violations of the Geneva Convention. The rules of global engagement completely depend on distinguishing combatants from civilians, a line this force intentionally erases.
So, as we wrap up this explainer, we really have to zoom out and ask ourselves, if these reports are entirely accurate, what does a covert force of 60,000 actually mean for the future of global warfare and transparency? Are we stepping into a new era where the most significant geopolitical shifts aren't driven by visible armies or public treaties, but by completely unacknowledged ghost operations hiding in plain sight? It's a wildly fascinating yet sobering thought. Thanks for joining me to unpack this today. Keep questioning, keep learning, and I'll see you in the next explainer.